Oh my god, I forgot to include this. Okay, so yesterday on my YouTube channel, which you should totally subscribe to, by the way. Anyways, I posted a full political analysis of the Sinners movie, but I forgot to include a really important bit. In part of the video, I discussed and analyzed the order in which all of the characters get turned into vampires because it is extremely important. Ryan Coogler is trying to explain the different weak points there are in Black culture through different people. And in doing so, he's also explaining how he thinks we can protect Black culture from those weak points. If you want to understand what I'm saying better, then you should definitely go and watch the YouTube video because I go into it with a lot more depth, and what I'm saying here will make a lot more sense if you do. In the midst of discussing why all of those demographics were chosen as weak points, I failed to mention why certain demographics were not chosen as weak points, specifically Black women. Ryan Coogler explains how white women are a weak point specifically through their relationship with Black men. But I believe it was a very conscious choice to make it so that Black women were never an access point for the vampires throughout the entire film. And I say this because of how both of the Smokestack twins' romantic relationships are portrayed. So one of the twins, Smoke, was with a Black woman who is Annie. Annie is extremely involved in her culture and heritage. She's super knowledgeable, and it's why she knows so much about vampires and how to protect themselves from the vampires. And as a result of Smoke's relationship with a knowledgeable Black woman, he doesn't end up being turned into a vampire. And as a result, when he dies, he will be able to rejoin his ancestors, unlike Stack. Stack, on the other hand, holds a romantic relationship with a white woman, and this white woman ends up acting as an access point for the vampires. Despite her maybe presenting as an ally first, she ends up being a weak point for the Black cultural space, which means that Stack ends up becoming victimized and turned into a vampire, which separates him from his heritage. Because as we know from the film, specifically from the information that Annie tells us, the soul ends up being trapped in the body when you become a vampire, leaving it unable to rejoin its ancestors in the afterlife. So because Stack was a Black man who ended up being turned into a vampire by a white woman, he is then separated from his culture. He is then cursed to live forever as a vampire with Mary, the white woman, and in doing so, he ended up turning his back on his culture, his heritage, and his ancestors. I think Ryan Coogler here was trying to depict two different Black men and their romantic interests and how they impact their relationship with their culture, which is why they're represented as twins. Because what he's really representing here are the two different paths that a Black man can take as far as their romantic interests go. That being between being with a Black woman and being with a white woman. You could analyze this take for hours and hours, but again, I go into more depth about Ryan Coogler's take and what the message of the movie is in my YouTube video. If you also notice in the film, not only do Black women never act as an access point to Black culture for the vampires, but they also end up becoming victims of the vampires as a result of the Black men's actions that let the vampires in the first place. They in no way were access points, yet they still ended up becoming victims. The film depicts Black women as a very strong pillar of the Black community and for Black culture. For some reason, it just completely skipped my mind when I was filming and uploading. So again, if you want to learn more about the Sinners movie and all of that jazz and all of the super dense commentary, then go head over to my YouTube. But yeah, I just needed to get that off my chest because it's a very important part of the film. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Okay, see y'all, bye!